Hi, little chefs. Welcome to December's cooking class. It's crazy that it's already December. This is insane. In a month, it's going to be 2025. Crazy. And I'll be 30. I'll be 30 next year. Um, don't know how I feel about that, but here we are. Time doesn't stop, I guess. It's been very busy over here. Hi, welcome. It's been very busy over here. I got cool things coming up. It's been a lot of work to get to this point, like 80% done with everything, and I'll have some new fun content for you guys. Um, I gave one hint. My hint is um, that I will be wearing a cowboy hat. That's my hint. Okay, so let's get started. Today we are doing, okay, so I guess YouTube decided to go live for everybody. Well, look at that. You get a cooking class. This, I guess we could use this as a little promo. So I normally do this once a month for my Little Chef members. So if you're on YouTube right now, if you hit that join button, it's $2.99 a month. I go live every month. I send out a recipe, and like Patrick Duncan right there is a Little Chef member. See that star there? He's a Little Chef member. So he's in the club. He gets all the recipes. I send out the recipe a week before the class. We cook together on live, and we share photos of all of the fun stuff we've made. So, and I usually try to theme the recipes to the month. So this month for December, we're going with something pretty hearty. We're doing red wine braised short ribs and a creamy Parmesan polenta. Yeah, so at the top of the page, if you're looking for that join button, at the top of the Abby and the Galley page, it will say like subscribe, just to like be on subscribe to my page. And then there's a join button that puts you in the Little Chef member club. All right. I guess YouTube decided to go live for everyone. So welcome, everyone. Glad you're here. Glad you're joining us. Hope to see you at other cooking classes coming up. Okay, so I've got my mix of vegetables here. This trio is called a mirepoix. It's French term. It's 50% carrots, 25% carrot, 25% celery, and 50% onion. So that mix, that ratio of 2 onion, 1 carrot, and 1 celery is considered a mirepoix, and it's a base for a lot of soups and sauces. So that's what we're going to be doing today in our braised red wine short ribs. So to cut this onion, we're going to find the root, the one that looks like little hairy end, and we are going to cut directly through the center of this root. Okay, directly through the center. Then I'll show you how it bunches back up here. This is how it keeps the onion intact when we're cutting. So we don't want to take off the root. We want to keep it intact because it bundles toward this end. It keeps the onion intact for when we're cutting dices, small dice, medium dice, large dice, whatever we're doing. Okay, so then we're going to go to the opposite side of the root and cut that end off, just the tiniest little amount. This is going to help us peel our skin off a little easier. So we're just going down until we see the white part of the onion. We don't want any skin. Okay, it should feel waxy. If you've gone far enough, it should feel waxy and not like plasticky. Okay, so mine feels waxy. It's good to go. Then we are going to make cuts back towards the root, going all the way back, or going all the way down, but not all the way back. So keeping about 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch before you get to the root. We still want to keep the root intact. And I can tell you right now, this is already a spicy onion. So I'm just going to do a small dice. So I'm making cuts back towards the root, following those natural lines of the onion. Okay. So we see that I didn't go all the way back towards the root. This guy fell off though. Didn't go all the way back towards the root. but I did make cuts all the way through. Okay. Then we're going to turn the onion and cut slices the other way. And then we'll have our small diced pieces. And then when I get towards the end, I hate wasting. So just kind of cut around the root. All good stuff back there. Okay, so we have our small diced pieces right there. Ooh, I'm crying. I am crying. Don't touch your eyes. Wash my hands. Oof. All right, moving on to our celery and carrots. Celery usually has a lot of dirt in the stem here. So we want to make sure we clean that very well. This traps all the dirt. You can see it there. So we want to make sure to clean this so we don't get E. coli. Okay. Move my onion off to the side here. Then I'm just going to take the smallest bit from the back side of the celery. And this still has tons of flavor. I'll just take off the leaves and a little bit of the tops, just where it's browning. And whenever you look at celery, it kind of tapers down. So this might be the size you want over here as far as width goes. But then down here, look how wide it is. So what I do is I just go up to the point where it starts to really taper. So I just kind of cut it like this. And when I cut, it should come out into roughly the same size pieces. If I take a cut over on this side, I'll show you. Here's the one that was cut in half. Here's the one that's tapered, roughly the same size. Okay, again, it tapers. I'm going up to where it really starts to taper, and then we should come out with roughly the same size pieces of celery. That's about 25%. So we have 50% onion, 25% celery. Then we need 25% carrot. We're going to peel these carrots. Might take off, trim up the edges first. And peel the carrots, just pressing gently with your peeler. The skin is full of nutrients, but you just don't want all of the dirt on the outside. So just gently pressing down to peel the outermost layer off. Then I'm going to cut this into smaller pieces so it's easier to work with, about 2-inch pieces. Cut them in half. You always want to have a flat base when you're cutting anything. Protects you from cutting yourself. See how much roll there is on this. It's a little scary to cut on something that's rolling. So I always like to create a flat base, and then I'll always use that flat base to my advantage. Nice and stable as I'm cutting. And notice how I'm making the celery, carrots, onion the same size so they cook evenly. And it's pretty when everything's even. I think I'm going to do one more carrot. Maybe a smaller one. This one looks good. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them. All right, so this is our mirepoix. We're also going to need some garlic. I'm going to do 3 cloves of garlic. And to get the skin off the garlic, you're just going to take your knife and press down on it with the blade. When is my next voyage? If you're talking about, I don't like the look of that one. If you're talking about cruise or yacht stuff, I am not sure. Hopefully this summer. I don't like the look of any of this garlic. Let's see if this bulb is any different. Hopefully this summer. They are in the process of building a boat right now, so it might be done in time. We'll see. But I do have another new adventure coming up soon. I'm going to say in the next 2 months there'll be a new adventure where I'll be wearing a cowboy hat. That's the only hint I'm going to give you. I'll be, instead of a captain's hat, I'll be wearing a cowboy hat. I'm super excited. But I've been busy. Crazy busy. Oh, another thing is I just had a photo shoot down in Miami for my cookbook coming up that I'm so excited about. Can't give dates, but there is a cookbook in the horizon. So I'm very excited to share that all with you. That's part of the reason why I'm so busy. I've been putting a lot of effort into creating these recipes. It's been a lot of fun and a lot of work. But the photo shoot was so much fun. I had a blast. All right, so prep work. Let's see if I got everything done. Garlic cloves, onions, celery, carrots. Got my tomato paste on hand. I got my red wine, beef stock, thyme, and bay leaves. Okay, let's get cooking. All right, so I've got my cast iron pan over here. One of my favorite pans. I use it for pretty much everything. So I'm going to crank this bad boy up on high. And we're going to sear these short ribs. So I know the recipe says olive oil, but olive oil has a pretty low smoke point, meaning that it will burn at high temperatures, and we are trying to get this at a super high temperature. So I am going to use canola oil or vegetable oil. Feel free to do that, make that change if you want to. If you don't have canola oil or vegetable oil, use a different oil that has a high smoke point, like avocado oil or grapeseed oil. Anything like that. Would not recommend butter that has a really low smoke point, meaning that it's going to burn. So all those milk solids in there, they burn super quick. If you have clarified butter, however, clarified butter is just butter without the milk solids. So they've simmered the milk, they've separated the milk solids from the pure fat, and they've just extracted the pure fat. So that's called clarified butter. And if you take it even farther, if you roast it even more, it's called ghee. So if you have clarified butter or ghee, feel free to use that. That has a much higher smoke point than regular butter. Didn't know you'd get a science lesson in here, did you? All right, so this is going to get nice and hot. We want it ripping hot because we want to get these nice and brown on the outside. The method that we're going to be using here is called searing. And when we get that browning effect on proteins, it's called the Maillard reaction. And the Maillard reaction is just like kind of like caramelization with sugar, but this is a mixture of the glucose molecule with the amino acids. And as heat is introduced to it, it browns, and that's what creates that Maillard reaction. And it changes the chemical structure of it, and the depth of flavor is just incredible. So it's one of my favorite methods to use, braising in particular, because you get best of both worlds. We're using the dry cooking method, searing. So dry cooking method does not use any liquid. So we're wanting to eliminate as many liquids as we can. We want to take out the water. Dry cooking method helps us get that really, really awesome sear, like browning effect. So like frying, searing, pan frying, sauteing is all dry heat cooking method. And then our moist heat cooking method uses liquids. And with the moist heat cooking method, you're going to get a tender piece of meat. With braising and stewing, we're using both. It's called combination method. We're using dry heat cooking method. We're getting that brown Maillard reaction going on. And then we're adding a flavorful liquid that's going to help with the tenderness of the meat. So it's my favorite way to cook anything because you can hold it for a while, hold it hot for a while, and it's not going to overcook. It's great. Okay. My pan is already smoking. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the fan. I hope this isn't too disruptive, but I don't want to burn this place down. I might even open the door. Let me do that. All right, the door is open. I'm going to control the heat by just taking it off. I think I put oil in there. So I got these nice short ribs here. And I like to sear with just salt rather than salt and pepper because pepper can burn pretty easily. So I do not want to add pepper just yet. But I will put my oil on. High smoke point oil. Good amount. Salt generously. Get that right in the oil. Fat side down to start with. Perfect. All right, so that's going to sear. We're going to get brown on all sides. Hi, Victoria. Victoria's a Little Chef member, too. On YouTube, I guess they wanted everyone to be a Little Chef today. So, surprise, everyone's a Little Chef. But if you want to be a Little Chef member, I do this every month. We do a cooking class. I send out the recipe a week beforehand, and then we can cook it together on live, and we share our photos of what we cooked. So if you'd like to join, go to the Abby and the Galley page and hit join. And it's $2.99 a month to join me for our cooking class. We have fun. All right, so these are searing. I got my tongs ready to flip. I got my veggies ready to go. I got doors open so I don't burn down this place. I'm already getting that Maillard reaction. Remember, that's the browning of the glucose and amino acids in the meat. Can you guys hear me okay with the fan? Woo! Okay, look at this. Maillard reaction. Maillard reaction. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is a YouTube glitch right now. Only Little Chef members were supposed to be in here, but it's a glitch. But I guess YouTube wanted you to be a Little Chef, but you can join for other months coming up as well. And if you join, you'll have access to all of the other cooking classes. I've done, I don't know, I started this a year and a half ago. So there's like 20 live cooking classes. You can go through all the recipes and go to all the old recordings. I prefer cooking on a gas stove or induction. Induction's pretty sweet. All right, I just flipped my short ribs there. This comes from the true ribs of the cow. So there's a rib plate. It's really long. And then what they do is they just chop it. Boom, short rib. All right, so what we're going to do is we'll be putting in our vegetables here soon. We're ready to go with those. I'm going to go ahead and get everything prepared. I'll open up my bottle of wine. I got this bottle from Aldi. I tasted it a few years ago, maybe like 5 years ago. I got this Bear Brothers from Aldi. I remember it being fairly good for like a $6 bottle of wine. Let's see if my 21-year-old palate was as good as it is now. Yeah, I guess somebody's trying to race down my street. Yeah. It's not bad. It's not bad for I think it was $6. Maybe it went up, but not bad. Way to go, Aldi. All right, I flipped them to the third side now. Let me show you on Instagram what's going on. Oh yeah, look at that Maillard reaction. Got some nice browning effect going. Oh, it smells amazing in here. Amazing. I can't wait until the onion and garlic go in. That's going to smell real good. Okay. I got one more side to brown up. And you don't want to rush this process. You want all those sides to be really nice and brown. It's going to create such a rich flavor. So I'm going to be using the pressure cooker method tonight. In the recipe, I give you both options of doing it either in the oven or in the pressure cooker. If you're doing it in the oven, I'll walk you through that step. But if you're doing it in a pressure cooker, just follow my steps exactly. If you are doing it in the oven, you'll remove these just like I am going to be doing in just a minute. And I'll tell you at the point of which way to go. All right, this guy is done. Nice and brown. Nice and brown. I'm going to put him in my pressure cooker. This guy's ready to go as well. This guy's good as well. Okay. A lot of fat came out of that short rib. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close my door. smoky part is over. I am going to remove some of this fat. It's a lot of fat. I'm keeping a little bit of fat. All right, so onions and garlic are going to go first. We'll get that going for about a minute. You're going to scrape the bottom of the pan. The brown bits on the bottom of the pan are full of flavor. That's called a fond or foundation. It's another French term. All the classic cooking terms come from the French. So we have a fond, the foundation, and we're using that as a foundation for our flavorful broth that our short ribs will be braising in. So scrape that fond off the bottom. You want that in there. It's not burnt pieces. It's the fond. I mean, unless you did burn it. But those brown bits are super flavorful. Don't waste them. And if you're having trouble getting off those brown bits when we deglaze with wine or our beef broth or beef stock, that will also help release some of the fond. Yeah, if you don't want to use wine, you can just do straight beef stock. That totally works. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my veggies. My mirepoix, 50% onion, 25% carrot, 25% celery. So if I have a cup of onion, to make a perfect mirepoix, if I have a cup of onion, I'll need a half cup of carrot and a half cup of celery. All right, threw those guys into the party. They're having fun. Smells incredible. I'm going to go ahead and season a little bit more. Little touch of salt. So what seasoning does when we're seasoning in steps, it's going to flavor everything. If I were to just take salt and throw it in at the very end of the dish, it's going to be super one-dimensional. If I'm seasoning every single component, you're not going to overly salt it. If you season every single component separately, it's going to be full of flavor. It's going to be a round, rich flavor. If you salt only at one point in the cooking process, it's going to be so one-dimensional. There's going to be nothing flavorful. So notice how I put salt in the beef. Okay, my beef is seasoned now. If I put salt in this mirepoix with my onions, celery, garlic, and carrots. Those are now seasoned. They're going to be taking in this salt inside of their vegetable, their piece of vegetable. Salt is going to be intaked into it. I don't even know if I'm using the right words right now. But if I did salt at the very end of the cooking process, it's just going to be coating it with the salty flavor. It's not going to be inside of each component. You can see that I am very very passionate about this. All right. Get some nice browning effect on these vegetables, and then we will put in our liquids. Oh, thanks, James. New phone updates? What does that mean? I don't think I have enough storage on my phone to do the new update. All right, we're getting that browning effect. We're getting that fond off the bottom. You're not going to use the whole bottle of red wine in your dish, so you might as well pour yourself a glass. I know. I need to have a cool setup where I can have cameras at every single angle. Maybe I'll get a team to do the filming for me. But I'm a one-man show. I do all my editing. Well, I do have my parents help me. My parents are the most incredible people in the world. My mom is my manager, and she handles all the emails, all the planning of everything, and my dad handles all of the businessy stuff, which takes a lot of time. So I'm very, very appreciative of them. They've been extreme amount of help in the past couple of years. It's been a crazy thing because I never expected to be this popular on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. I started it as just a fun hobby. It was just a way to document what I was doing throughout my day because I didn't have Wi-Fi my first year. So I told my friends and family, I'm going to film the day. I'm going to post it on TikTok instead of calling you guys because I didn't have any service to call anyone. So I'm just going to post it on TikTok and you guys can all see what I'm doing throughout the day. And then it just blew up from there. So it's been such an incredible 3 years, and I really appreciate all your support. It's like a dream. I never expected this. Never expected to be a chef on a yacht. Never expected to be on social media. Before I started this, I had zero social media. Zero. I was not planning for any of this, but it's here, and I'm loving it, and it's great that I can share it with all of you guys. It's so much fun. I told myself, as soon as I'm not having fun with this, I'm out. It's truly just a fun hobby for me. Yeah, they are super generous parents. I am so appreciative of them. Aw, thanks, Sissy Layla. Sissy Lala. Thanks. My favorite meal to cook and to eat is Thai red curry. Good thing too. I love to cook it and I love to eat it. Make a cookbook. Good news is that I am making a cookbook. It's in the works. So keep an eye out. It's been a tremendous amount of work so far. So I really hope that you enjoy it. If you do so choose to get a cookbook, you have no idea how many hundreds of hours have been put into it. It's been awesome. So I'm with a publisher. I'm with HarperCollins, and we've been having a lot of fun. Just last month, I was down in Miami with them doing a photo shoot for it. So it's all coming together. All right, let's get the wine in here. Going in with the wine. Deglazing the pan. We're going to let some of that cook off. We don't want that super alcoholic flavor. So we're reducing this. What reducing means is we're just taking out some of the water and the alcohol in this case. So when a recipe says like reduce by half, that means, let's say you start with a cup of wine, you're going to reduce it, take out the water, the water is going to evaporate out, and you'll truly be left with half. So from a cup of wine, water evaporates, and you're left with a half a cup. So I don't need to evaporate by half on this, just a little bit, just to cook out some of that alcohol. And wine's not going to catch on fire. There's not enough alcohol for that. You probably see people put alcohol in something that they're doing on the stove, and it lights up on fire. This is only 12% alcohol. It's not going to light on fire. If you put vodka or brandy in something, yeah, you might get a little bit of fire with that because that's 40% alcohol. Wine is not going to catch on fire. Okay, so no worries about that. All right, that cooked down some. I'm going to go ahead and add my beef broth. So you could make beef broth or chicken stock or anything at this kind of stuff, beef broth, chicken stock at home, just by taking raw bones along with your mirepoix, which is your onion, carrots, and celery, and just simmering it for like 8 hours. And that's going to extract all those flavors from the bones, the inner parts of the bones, all the flavors from the carrots, celery, onion into the water, and then you'll be left with your chicken stock or beef stock, depending on what kind of bone you're going to use. So when you do simmer these vegetables and bones for 8 hours, if you were to take a carrot out at the last bit of the cooking process, it would be pretty much flavorless because all that flavor is being extracted into the water. So I like to make stocks after I get like a rotisserie chicken from the store. I know it's not raw bones, but you can still extract tons of flavor from it. So like I pick up a Costco chicken, I eat my chicken, I save the carcass, throw it in some water with carrots, celery, onion, let it simmer for a few hours, and boom, I got a nice flavorful broth. Yay, my comments on Facebook are finally working. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. Aww. I love that, Susan. Thanks for being here. Awesome. Okay, great. I just love seeing you guys. Okay, so this is simmering. I'm going to put it in with my short ribs here soon. What was I talking about? Stocks. Okay, so we have our like regular stocks, and then we have our brown stocks. So brown stocks, instead of using raw bones, you're going to use roasted bones. So remember what I said about browning food? It's called the Maillard reaction. It just changes the flavor completely because it's a whole different chemical structure that's happening, or chemical change that's happening. So regular stock is made with raw bones. Brown stock is made with roasted bones. All right, so this has, let's check. Okay, I need my thyme and my bay leaves. Let's see if I can, oh my gosh, look at that. Isn't that great when you can find something so fast in your spice cabinet? Out of 100 spices. All right, thyme's going in. If you have fresh thyme, go for it. I don't have fresh thyme. I have no time. No time. All right, 1 and 2. Bay leaves. Oh. 5-second rule when you're at home. That almost missed as well. Okay, since I am doing the Instapot method, I'm going to put this into my Instapot, put it on 35, 40 minutes, and let it do its thing. If you are using the oven method, what you're going to do is put your short ribs back into the sauce here, cover it with tin foil, or if you have a lid, use a lid. Put it in the oven at like 300 degrees or so for 2 to 3 hours, depending on when you want to pull it. You can take it out. If you have little tiny short ribs, it's probably going to take a couple hours. If you have big fat short ribs, it's going to take probably 3 hours. So at the 2-hour mark, take them out, taste them, see if you like the texture of it. If they're not fork tender, cook them longer. Okay, so this is going into my Instapot. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to put this bad boy on. Let's see. Put it on meat. Start. And I want it sealed, not venting. We're pressure cooking this. All right, now let me clean up a little bit. Can't stand working in a greasy environment here. So much grease everywhere. All right, we're going to move on to our creamy polenta now. And that's going to be, the short ribs are going to sit on top of a bed of creamy polenta. So I have a little pot here. I got all my stuff I need for that. Go back on this one. Okay, so we're going to need some water. We're going to need 4 cups of water, 1 cup of milk, and a cup of cornmeal. So I'll go ahead and get my water and milk in here. I heard salting the veggies helps the water leave the cells. Yeah, absolutely. So in like biology, I'm going back to my biology days, biology class days. If salt or water follows salt. So if you salt something, especially like if you're caramelizing onions, if you want to draw out the moisture, salt it. Okay, water follows salt. Like there's, I think I did a video on salting frozen sea scallops. So if you salt it, it's going to pull out the water. And if we're doing a dry heat cooking method, we want a brown exterior. If water is present, you're not going to get a brown exterior. So we need to pull out that moisture. You salt it, it extracts the water. Water follows salt. I'm giving you more science here. You didn't realize it, but here we are. Science class. Okay, I'm going in with my milk. Oh, and my brother is a genius, like true genius. But he was trying to explain to me the science behind pressure cooking. And what pressure cooking is when the heat and steam gets trapped in there, it creates almost like a vacuum. And then in a vacuum, there's a different boiling point. It's a lower temperature that it reaches boiling point. So it's like far past the temperature of boiling. So it gets to a super high temperature relative to the environment that it's in the vacuum that this is creating with all that pressure. It's creating this crazy high temperature relative to what it is here, like out at room temperature, no vacuum. So it's able to get to super high temperatures and cook it extremely fast. I thought that was the most interesting thing he ever told me, because I didn't know what happened in there. I thought it was some magic. But it's not magic, it's science. Who knew? All right, we're going to bring this up to a boil and slowly pour in our cornmeal once we get up to temperature here. I'm going to go ahead and salt it, water and milk, salt it to make sure, because as soon as the cornmeal goes in, it's going to soak up all of this liquid. So we want this liquid to be flavorful, or else it's just going to be bland. We're salting every single step, not overly salting it, but just salting it in stages. Yeah, you can use a regular pressure cooker. Absolutely. That's what we used. We didn't have Instapots in a commercial kitchen. We had true pressure cookers where you put it on the stove. They kind of freak me out. I gotta be honest with you. I feel like the Instapot is user friendly and not scary, so I'm using the Instapot. I've seen too many horror stories with the regular stove pressure cookers. Okay, so this is a creamy polenta. I'm starting with the base of water and milk. You can go crazy. You can use chicken stock. You can use beef stock. You could use water and cream if you want it extra creamy. But whatever liquid you want to put in there, go for it. The beef stock and chicken stock is definitely going to give you some more flavor. If you put cream instead of milk, it's going to make it extra creamy. So a recipe is just a guide. I rarely follow recipes. Have fun with it. Make it your own based on what you prefer, what you like. All right, we need to wait till this gets to a boil. And guess what? The best way to taste if something is seasoned is to taste it. Kara asked, how tall am I? This is hilarious to me. So when somebody meets me in person, it's perfectly seasoned. Not going to touch it. When someone meets me in person, if they just know me from being online, they tell me I'm so super short. I guess the camera makes me look taller. I don't know. I would love to. I'm curious to see how tall you think I am. How tall do you think I am? Because it's just funny. It's funny how different somebody can look on camera versus in real life. $5'2". No, that's short. Hi, Oceanside Girl 71. There's a little chef member in here. All right. Let's get it hot. 5'5". We're getting close. I'm 5'6". I'm gonna say 6.5. But apparently they think I'm like 6 feet tall. I'm in fact not 6 feet tall. I'm just 5'6". All right, and I got my cornmeal off to the side here, ready to go in when I'm ready. I also am choosing to go in with rosemary. I think it's that time of the year to break out the rosemary, December time. Rosemary, November and December, I use a lot of rosemary, and I have a beautiful rosemary plant out there. If you have a rosemary plant, stick it in the ground. That thing's gonna grow. Rosemary is the easiest plant to grow. It's so hardy, and it takes off. So be careful. If you do plant it in the ground, it's going to take off. Get ready to use a lot of rosemary. I started mine in a container and it did nothing, but as soon as I put it in the ground, went crazy. Okay, I'm still waiting for a simmer on that. I love growing mint. Yes, mint. Okay, so I have not had success with mint down in South Florida, close to the beach. Have not had success. But in the Panhandle where I'm at now, the mint has been crushing it. Yeah, the rosemary that I got was on the clearance section at Lowe's. And you know when a plant is in the clearance section, it's like on its way out. But we revived it. It's back in business and it's thriving. It is thriving. Oh my gosh, what do you put in the Cosmic Brownie Ninja Creamy recipe? I need to know. I was never allowed to have Cosmic Brownies as a child. My dad's a dentist, so we weren't allowed to have that. But I would look at the kids and be super jealous. Hard time with basil. You know, me too. If you have a Trader Joe's by you, I've had amazing success with Trader Joe's because there's so many like plants that I don't know. I am not a gardener, but there's so many different basil plants, stems. What am I trying to say? Usually when I go to Publix and I get a basil plant, it's one stalk. But at Trader Joe's, there's like 5. I have a Trader Joe's plant, a basil right there that has been killing it. It's like 4 feet tall right now. Okay, I think I'm ready to put my cornmeal in, and I'm just going to slowly add it in while stirring. Whisking. It's going to clump up on you, so make sure you're whisking the whole time. And mine's like a pre-cooked cornmeal, so mine's not going to take that long. If you don't have the pre-cooked one, you might have to wait a little longer. But mine is firming up pretty fast. Yeah, so it's just like grits. Ow! Ooh! It just popped on me and it stuck to my finger. Yeah, it's just like grits. It is grits, pretty much. We just want a fancy word for it. So there's white cornmeal that you could get. There's the yellow cornmeal. In Polenta, you normally see the yellow cornmeal. Okay, so if you have the pre-cooked one, it's not going to take much time at all. Do I have a favorite cookware? Yes, I got sent the Hexclad pans. They just sent it to me, and I started using them. And I'm not going to endorse anything that I don't love. I love the Hexclad pans. Yeah. They're like a mix between cast iron, Teflon, and stainless steel. I've had them for like a year and a half, and they still look brand new. So they hold up pretty well. Huh, interesting. Yeah, very similar. Okay, so now I'm going to put my cheese in. And my butter. And if your polenta is a little too thick, feel free to add more milk or water. Okay, cheese goes in. The cheese can be measured with your heart. I'm going to put in my rosemary as well. We're just going to chop this up a little bit. You can use dried if you'd like. You could use any herb. That's going in. Along with some butter. It's also going to add some great creaminess to it. Yeah, so the stainless steel, there's a certain way that you have to cook with it. You have to heat it up for a good amount of time. I'd say like a good 5 minutes until it's like really hot. If you put water in it and the water like beads up, it's hot enough. If it doesn't bead up immediately, not hot enough. So when the water does bead up, take out the water, and then you're able to add the oil. And then you will have did my butter literally just fall out? Oh my goodness. I'm rinsing it off. I don't do this when I cook commercially, okay? I only use the 5-second rule at home. What was I saying? Oh yeah, stainless steel. So when it's hot enough, when the water beads up, you can then add your oil, and then it shouldn't stick if you've got it hot enough. But I always have some kind of Teflon on hand. Whenever I'm cooking eggs, I use Teflon. Sue me. It's just, the eggs turn out so good, and I only use my Teflon pan for eggs. If someone scratches my Teflon, I'll be mad. Core power chocolate, sugar-free chocolate pudding. Oh my gosh, I haven't even heard of that. Brownie mix? Wait, do you cook the brownie mix? Do you heat up the brownie mix before you put it in? Because I heard that you could get salmonella from raw flour. I definitely eat raw flour on the daily. Like I had pancakes today and I ate the batter. So definitely did that. Plenty of olive oil or avocado oil. Yeah. The fat, the grease is key when working with stainless steel. And the heat. More flavorful for dry versus fresh herbs, definitely fresh. The rule of thumb is that if you're working with Fresh herbs, you want to add them towards the end of the cooking process because you don't want to ruin the color or the flavor. They can get bitter if they're cooked too long. However, if you're using dry herbs, you want to put that in towards the beginning of the cooking process so they can release their flavor. So when they're dry, put them towards the beginning of the cooking process so they can extract the flavors. Fresh, end of the cooking process. I'm going to have to try the Ninja Creamy recipe. All right, let's taste these. I want to call them grits, but it is polenta. They look so cheesy. Look at that. That looks insane. I think I went a little too crazy on the cheese. Remember I said measure with your heart? I take it back. My heart was too big for the Parmesan cheese. That's fantastic. I thought I was going a little overboard with the rosemary. Fantastic. All right, I'm going to put some pepper in here. I forgot to put pepper in my short ribs. Whatever. I don't even like pepper anyway. Just kidding, I love pepper. I always use freshly ground pepper, and I'll get either the trio blend or the like the 4 types of peppercorn. Let me share this with you, little chef, because a lot of people don't know this. So we have black peppercorn, right? I don't know if I can open this. I don't want to ruin it. So we have the black peppercorn, which you've probably seen. It's a little like brownish black ball. Okay, that's a black peppercorn. Guess what white peppercorn is? It's a dehusked. It's a husked. I don't think I need to say dehusked. It's a husked black peppercorn. So if you take the outer skin off of a black peppercorn, it's white inside. That's a white peppercorn, not a different variety. Now get this. Your mind's about to be blown right now. So before the peppercorn starts to dry up, guess what color it is? Green. Okay, so we have our green peppercorn, and then as it dries, it starts to turn brown / black. Then we get into our black peppercorn. So green is the ripest peppercorn, like right off the plant, you'll have a green peppercorn. Then as it dries, it's going to go into its black peppercorn. And then if you husk it, if you take off the peel of the black peppercorn, you've got white peppercorn. The more you know. You know, I didn't figure this out until just a few years ago, so don't feel bad if you didn't know. The kicker here, so green, black, and white peppercorn are the same variety peppercorn. Pink peppercorn is not a pepper, not in the peppercorn family. It is a berry. So if you were to taste a just a pink peppercorn, that I can't find any in here, they're probably all broken down. The pink peppercorns usually clog up your grinder because they're a berry and they're fairly soft. So if you ate a pink peppercorn, there's not much peppery taste to it. There's a little bit, but it's sweet. And it's one of my favorite type of peppercorn. Yeah, I know. I love talking about peppercorns because who knew, right? Who knew? But so this, the black peppercorn, that outer husk has a lot of the spice in it. So when you take off that husk and you just have the white peppercorn, it's going to be a little less spicy. And you'll see white peppercorn used a lot in cream sauces, just so it doesn't have, so you don't have black specks in your cream sauce, but who cares? I still put black peppercorn in it. And you'll see a lot of white pepper in Asian cuisine as well. Don't know why, but you do. I know, a berry. A berry. You're out. No, stay with us, little chef. All right, so as this cools, as my polenta cools, it will seize up a little bit. So you can add more milk, throw it back on the heat. But that still looks creamy, dreamy, and cheesy. Do I see what I put? Do you see what I put UQ there? I don't know what that means. Oh, for the cosmic brownie? The cosmic brownie recipe are you talking about? Oh yeah, this is okay. All right, I'll do it. I'm gonna have to try it out. I don't have a Ninja Creamy right here, right now. It'll be probably a month from now. I'm moving around like crazy. This is where my dad went to school. Yeah, so I guess the alumni people sent it to him. So I'm repping his college. I actually stole this hat from him. I thought it was cool. So sorry, Dad. He doesn't even wear hats, so I wear hats all the time. All right, we got 15 minutes left on this. I might pull it a little early because those are such little baby short ribs. All right, while we wait, I'm gonna give it probably 5 more minutes. While we wait, ask questions away. We've got time to chat. Whatever kind of questions you got. Oh my god. Oh, let me show you something I've been super proud of. On the back, you've probably seen this sitting there. I have been getting into sourdough, and I've been having the time of my life. I am not typically a baker, but the late 20s makes you want to bake, I guess. So I've been doing sourdough, and look at this crumb. You're not going to believe it. I'm going to have this with the short ribs. It's going to be insane. Look at that crumb. I think it looks fantastic. I've been keeping little, guess what her name is? You're going to love it. Her name is Dolly Startin. That's the name of my starter, Dolly Startin. She's been alive for over a year. What's my go-to easy dressing? I love that question because I don't have a go-to like specific recipe, but I have a go-to ratio, and everyone loves a good ratio, or maybe that's just me that loves a good to ratio. So if I'm doing a vinaigrette, it's a 3-to-1 ratio. So 3 parts oil to 1 part vinegar. So if I'm doing a cup of oil, I'll do 1/3 of a cup of vinegar. If I'm making like a small baby salad, I'll do 3 tablespoons oil to 1 tablespoon vinegar. So 3-to-1 ratio. Okay, so that's the basic vinaigrette. Okay, 3 parts oil, 1 part vinegar. But I like to spice it up a bit. Obviously, salt and pepper. That's a given. Salt and pepper, given. And you want more salt than you think because there's a lot of lettuce to season. Okay, so then vinegar is pretty intense unless you have like a super good quality vinegar, which I don't usually like use a super high quality vinegar. So what I do, I like to mellow out the vinegar with some sweetness. So that can be in the form of anything. It can be sugar. It can be maple syrup. It can be honey. It can be brown sugar. It can be monk fruit. It can be coconut sugar. It can be whatever form of sweetness that you have. So just a pinch of sugar or pinch of sweetness. And then if I want to emulsify my vinaigrette, so instead of it separating oil and vinegar, if I want to make sure that that's emulsified and it holds together, I'll add in a little squirt of Dijon mustard. And the Dijon mustard will set up that vinaigrette so it's not separating. So it'll emulsify it together. So again, the ratio is 3 parts oil, any type of oil, olive oil, avocado oil. I've heard somebody use bacon grease before as their oil. It's one of our little labs we have in class. And they love to get creative. And I let them. So 3 parts oil. I typically use olive oil. 1 part vinegar, red wine vinegar, balsamic vinegar. It could be lemon juice. It could be lime juice. It could be orange juice. So any type of vinegar or acid. Okay. To emulsify Mustard, I like to use Dijon. Touch of sweetness to balance out the harshness of the vinegar. You don't want to make it sweet. You're just taking away the harshness of the vinegar. So touch of sweetness and salt and pepper. Boom, you're good to go. And if you want to get real crazy, fresh herbs or dried herbs if you don't have fresh. But that's my ratio. That's my go-to ratio. And so that's a vinaigrette. But if you want to make it creamy, throw in some mayo or sour cream, and then you have a creamy dressing. Easy as pie. I love my ratios when cooking. Special marshmallow salt? I have not. Yeah, the little touch of sweetness makes a huge difference. How do I make zucchini bread low carb? I think I did zucchini pancakes, which are similar to the bread, with almond flour instead of regular flour. That's what I did on the boat. It was pretty good. It wasn't too bad. All right, let's check this out. I'm gonna go ahead and cancel this and let it cool off before venting it. What's your go-to when fruit is going bad? My go-to is to chop it up, put it in a Ziploc baggie, and put it in the freezer, and use it for smoothies. Because if it's really on the way out, I don't want to chop it up and serve it. Like if there are brown bits on it, I don't want to serve it. But no one's going to be able to tell in a smoothie. All right, so let's vent this out. What I like to do, instead of venting stuff up on your cabinets, I'll grab a rag here, get it a little damp, and vent it like that. Where is it going? Oh, I put it in the wrong way. Just be careful because that steam is going to be very hot. Don't burn yourself. So that's going to release the pressure, and then it will give me a little notification that I can open it. In the meantime, I'm going to go get my plate. I'll put these are the cheesiest polentas. This is the cheesiest polenta I've ever made. Gorgeous. All right, I'm making a bed of the polenta. And I'm going to create a little cavity in the center because I want some of that juice to sit in there. Like so. All right, now we're plating. The best part, because the next part's eating. All right, let's see if this is ready to be open. Not yet. It's still locked. Does not want me to enter yet. That's okay. That's okay. I'll wait. So an optional step on this recipe is that you strain out the liquid and put it into a pan and reduce it so it will thicken up. You can, or you don't have to do that. I rarely do it. But if you want to be extra fancy, you can do that. All right. Ooh, it looks so good. Smells amazing. I'm going to do 2 short ribs These short ribs are little baby things, but whatever. All right, and I'm gonna put some juice on top as well. And there she is. Short ribs with creamy polenta. You know, looking back on it, I probably should have thickened up this sauce a little. But this looks great. I'm going to save this one to take a picture with, but I do want to try it. Let's taste it together on camera. I'm gonna put a little polenta with it. Oh yeah. That's great. Oh my gosh. Like I said, season all the way through. You're gonna have a super roundness of flavor. It's definitely not one-dimensional. That's so good. So comforting. For a cold December here in Florida. I've got my windows open. It's like 60 degrees and it's gorgeous outside. But it's cold to me. All right, guys. I'm glad YouTube, I guess YouTube wanted some more Little Chefs in. If you are not yet a Little Chef member, this is not typical that I go live with everyone. I normally just go live with my Little Chefs. If you would like to join us for more cooking classes, I do this every month, and I send out the recipes so you can cook along with me on live. So if you're interested in that, go to Abby and the Galley page, hit join, not subscribe, but hit join, and then you'll see all the previous videos. There's probably about 20 old recorded videos with recipes, and then you'll be able to join us on all the future cooking classes as well. All right. Thanks for being here, everyone. Good to see you all, and I hope everyone has a wonderful night. If you are a Little Chef member, I'll be posting my picture on the page. I would love to see your final product as well. All right. Bye, Little Chefs. Bye. You're welcome, guys.